Hello everyone and welcome back to Strife Solutions. I'm of course William Strife and this is Yogscast Complete, or Yogpack if you prefer, a special version of modded Minecraft for us the Yogscast. If you want to play along, you can get the community version off of the AT launcher. A link is in the description. So, what are we up to today, guys? Well, last time I got around to putting together the vineyards outside of the cantina. I've got my hops over here as well as my grapes. I've also got trees on the other side where I'm growing apples, and I'm also cultivating rice. And ooh, there's another apple that dropped. In between, I went and planted down these bushes from Natura. Some of you have probably seen bushes such as mallowberry, raspberry, blackberry, and I think blueberries spawning around the world. I think I had some of the berry bushes in the forest surrounding the platform here. But they exist in the nether as well. These skyberry bushes, I also think I have stingberry over here. No, that's blightberry. But there are about 4 different variations of berry bushes that you can find in the nether as well. They have a slightly different effect, a little bit more sinister. They tend to damage you, but they look fantastic. And, you know, as most of you probably know at this point, the Crafted Cantina, even though it is a restaurant, fully functioning restaurant, you know, don't make no mistake, it is capable of serving of the best cuisine, which is what I'm going to get to in this episode, but it's also obviously some sort of a front for me to sell off some of the more illicit drugs that I'm not going to be able to sell as pharmaceuticals straight. But, shh, you didn't hear it here. So I've got a couple of the alcohols up in frames here. You can't actually see them, so I'll probably have to put signboards up above them to, you know, name them off. But I've got alcohols over here, such as apple cider and sake and ale and grape wine. So that is that for between episode stuff. So let's hop down into the kitchen now, and let's get to today's episode, which is all about foods and cuisine. That's right, foods and cuisine. It's time to actually get the food sorted out for the restaurant upstairs. And there's so much to cover. You know, there are all sorts of things. I have done a whole lot of work in the background. I have done some fishing from the mariculture mod, so I can create certain types of seafood. That's something that I'll probably cover in detail sometime later, how to manipulate the mariculture mod. Really fun. But I have all sorts of foods here. So to start off with, let's look at some veggie salad and shroom salad from Biomes of Plenty. So there are 3 types of salad that you can make. There's the fruit salad, the veggie salad, and the shroom salad. Now, I'm not going to make the fruit salad because berries are a little bit hard to find. The Biomes of Plenty type, to be specific. That and the fact that I can use the apples to craft booze, which is something I think that they're a whole lot better to being used. But I can make the veggie salad, which is wild carrots, carrot, and potato. Now, the wild carrots are particularly rare. So rare, in fact, that I only have 2 of them here. But there's also carrots. And what was the other thing that I need? I need potatoes. So I've got plenty of those as well. Okay, so what about the shroom salad? Shroom salad is composed of toadstool, portobello, and blue milk caps. So I should have those in here as well. Toadstool, portobello, and blue milk caps. Now, I want to address this very quickly before I actually go about crafting these things. Wild carrots, blue milk caps, portobellos, toadstools, basically all the food items that are introduced through Biomes of Plenty. Because Biomes of Plenty is a mod that focuses on world creation and world generation, it's not possible to cultivate pretty much any of the food that it introduces. So that's, you know, a bit of a drawback. Any of the fancy foods that you can make in that mod, you know, they're kind of off limits. So anyways, let's make ourselves some veggie salad. Hooah, there we go. A couple of veggie salads. Now let's make ourselves some shroom salad. Booyah, there we go. Shroom salad. We're looking good, looking good. I'll go ahead and pop those in the food chest over there. So there we go. Veggie and shroom salad are off the list. Now to make some chocolate milk. Now, unfortunately, chocolate milk is a bit unwieldy to create. It's added in through Mine Factory Reloaded, and for some reason, it doesn't allow you to utilize bottles, which doesn't make an inherently large amount of sense, but this is how you make it. You take a bucket of milk, an empty bucket, and some cocoa beans, and you make yourself some chocolate milk. And that actually cannot be drank. You see here, I'm right-clicking and I can't drink it. You actually have to put this down on the ground like that and suck it up with a straw. I'm not going to make a straw right now, but that's your story if you want to look up how to make that all together. Hopefully no one comes into the restaurant and asks for chocolate milk before I make straws. There we go. There's some chocolate milk. Next up, meat ingots and meat nuggets. You guys already know about the meat. My meat chest is over here. Oh, and also, just in case you guys are asking why I'm not using refrigerators from Mr. Crayfish's furniture mod, it's because of the things that the Mr. Crayfish furniture mod introduces, mailboxes crash the server particularly bad, but refrigerators also seem to cause a particular amount of trouble. So I've been explicitly told whenever I was trying to figure out what to and not to put down when constructing this kitchen, that refrigerators are something that I should stay away from. So that's the reason why I'm not using them. But anyways, I have those meat ingots as well as okay, well, it doesn't look like I have any meat nuggets on me, but I covered that in detail whenever I was setting up the slaughterhouses for the farm outside, so I don't think that I really need to explain that to you. Now, let's see if I can get these raw meat ingots to work inside of the oven. Nope, see, it's not working, and that's because the oven only works with standard vanilla food items. So I'll go ahead and pop those in the furnace, and I'll just give this like 2 bits of ash, and that will smelt that stuff up more than enough to get all of that, to go through all of that. So as that cooks away, I'll go ahead and check off meat ingots, and even though I don't have nuggets, that's not optimal. Now, let's get about to making some glowing bread. Now, glowing bread is a fantastic little food item from Zeno's Reliquary. And glowing bread, there are 2 different types. You can make one from magical crops, and that's just bread surrounded by some glowstone, or the more potent version from Zeno's Reliquary, which is composed of 3 bits of bread and glowing water. Now, glowing water is composed of 3 bits of glowstone and condensed splash serum. Now, the splash serum is composed of gunpowder, glowstone, netherwort, and a vial of ordinary water. Now, the vial of ordinary water, an empty vial, which is a bunch of panes, and you just right-click any sort of water source to get your hands on vials full of water. So I'll go ahead and get everything together that I need. Okay, step 1, make the condensed splash serums, so shift click. We've got 10 of those. Next up is to make the glowing water. Shift click, 10 of those, almost out of glowstone, really eating the stuff up quickly there. And I should have more than enough food in my inventory to make this work. Shift click, and look at that, I've got myself 10 glowing bread, glowy and delicious. Now, I can't quite remember what this stuff does, but it does have mystic properties, a little bit on the magic side in all honesty, but it's for a good cause. Glowing bread from Zeno's Reliquary. I just love that word, reliquary. Okay, so glowing bread is done. Now let's go on to calamari. Now there are 2 different types of calamari that you can make in this mod pack. The first is from magical crops, which is squid meat. Squid meat is pretty simple and easy to make. I'll come over to this one. Calamari, you can this drops whenever you kill squids. You just put it into a furnace and you cook it through, and squid meat turns into calamari. Now that's great, that's perfectly fine. Squid meat into calamari, and that does 4 hunger, and that's actually a whole lot of hunger to restore all at once. However, there's another type of calamari that you can make from the mariculture mod. Whenever you kill squid, you get these raw squids. Okay, I've got 44 bowls, and I have some 40 squids, so with the bowls and the squid that come from mariculture, I can just combine them in any crafting inventory, and there we go. We get a bunch of calamari, and it does stack, thank God, because it would be a big problem if it didn't. And what's more, this is only 1 serving of calamari. This can be reduced once or twice, I believe, before it is completely empty. So I'll go ahead and put that in the chest as well. And go ahead and open this up, check that off. Calamari is done. Now let's move on to something else from mariculture. Custard. Custard and fish fingers. So, to make custard, what I'm going to need is a vat. Now, I should have one. Here we go. I've got this old vat here that I was using quite a bit for other stuff previously. I'll go ahead and take up one of these blocks, and I'll put the vat down right there. Now, I've never actually done this before. Turn off Walia. But I think I know what I'm doing in general. If I come over here and I check the custard in a bowl, and I check how it's made, it's milk with 2 bits of sugar in a vat. It says that it's going to take 15 seconds for that to brew, so I'll go ahead and take a bucket. Okay, there we go. This is all full. Now, I'll just go ahead and take some sugar and just right-click a couple of times. I think that's more than enough. Just give it a little bit of time, and it'll probably produce some custard that I can use. Okay, and with the spare bowls... There we go, just right-clicking gives me custard. Check that out, that's fantastic stuff. And you can tell that the custard is ready because it's sitting in the middle of everything. Okay, so I've got myself a whole bunch of custard, and I can still continue making more in the vat there. So I'm going to go ahead and split that and put it into the chest, and I'm going to take some bread out. And let's get on to making those fish fingers. Fish fingers in custard. So to do that, I need 3 fish fingers plus a custard, and to make the fish fingers, I get 16 of them from by combining a cod with 4 bits of bread. Now, like I said, I've already done tons of fishing in my spare time, because fishing is about the closest that you can get to doing something without actually doing anything. So I go ahead and just do that, and I've got myself a whole bunch of fish fingers. Pop that into my inventory and craft the rest of it. So there we go. We've got a whole bunch of fish fingers in custard, and we've probably got enough. Here we go. This is nice and full. I'll go ahead and fill this up some more. Get the rest of the custard out of that cauldron or vat, and there we go. We've got a whole bunch of custard, and we've got some raw fish fingers if anybody wants that as well. We're doing great, man. We're absolutely a culinary sensation. That damn Chili Wawa restaurant chain won't be able to hold a candle to the crafted cantina. Okay, so next up is smoked salmon. So to make smoked salmon, it's not that difficult. You just take raw salmon, run it through smelting to get smoked salmon. There we go, smoked salmon in the bag. Let's go ahead and pop that in there. I could make more, but I want to hold back just in case I need that salmon for another recipe. I can't quite remember what I went through. Okay, so smoked salmon is off the list. Next up are boiled eggs. So boiled eggs aren't that difficult. I would make these in the crayfish furnaces, but that's not an option. So instead, I'll go ahead and put them in the furnace there, and those will boil up for boiled eggs. So not that bad. Once again, from Magical Crops, crops and food. So while those cook up, I'll go ahead and check that off and move on to the next page. Let's check out sushi. Sushi and miso soup. More stuff from the Mariculture mod. So sushi, how do we make this? Sushi is composed of any type of fish, basically, and how rare the fish is will dictate how many sushi you get out of it, and kelp wraps. Now, the kelp wraps are just a whole bunch of seaweed or kelp from Mariculture or Biomes of Plenty in filling up an entire crafting table. So I'll go ahead and pop over here. Okay, now I've got myself 4 kelp wrap. I'll go ahead and grab a single raw cod and go ahead and craft that, and there we go. We've got ourselves 4 portions of sushi. Let's go ahead and pop that in there. Check that off the list. Oh, but wait, we also need to make miso soup. Miso soup is fantastic. I love miso soup. I love miso. So to make miso soup, there are 3 different types you can make. 1, 2, and 3 portions. Now, which one you can make is dependent on the rarity of fish that you have access to. 3 portions, I don't exactly have access to these types of fish because I haven't really gotten that far into Mariculture, but I can make 1 portion, which I can make with a nightfish. Here we go, I've got plenty of them, and I'm going to need more kelp wrap, but I'm also going to need bowl and some brown and red mushrooms. Okay, so I should have everything. Shift-click, and there we go. We've got 3 single portions of miso soup. I made it with nightfish. I'll go ahead and put those away, and go ahead and check that off the list. Next up is beef and oyster pie, which I seem to have made a major oversight on. While I have everything that I need here, it takes raw pork, raw beef, a pearl oyster, wheat, and an egg. It takes salt. I thought it was saltpeter. That is my mistake. So, unfortunately, I won't be making any beef and oyster pie. That'll be a higher up tier type of dish that I can serve later on. But for now, I will say that pearl oysters are found at the bottom of the sea, and I've been finding a reasonable number of them, given that I can breathe underwater. So that's that for you. So unfortunately, beef and oyster pie, not good. But let's get into some other stuff, some more vanilla types of foods that you can make, which includes pumpkin pie. And pumpkin pie is, of course, made of 1 sugar, 1 whole pumpkin, and an egg. So I'll go ahead and shift-click there, and we've got 5 slices of pumpkin pie. We'll pop that into the chest and check it off the list. Next up are cookies, composed of 2 pieces of wheat and some cocoa beans. So I'll go ahead and shift-click there. I don't want to use up all of my cocoa beans, though, so let's just make a couple of them. 1 single stack is more than enough. So there we go. We've got some cookies. Put that in the chest as well. Should go ahead and check that off the list. And, ooh, almost forgot. Cake! The classic cake. The cake is a lie. And, of course, the classic Minecraft crafting recipe for the cake. 3 buckets of milk, 2 bits of sugar, 1 egg, and 3 wheat across the bottom. And there we go. We've got a fantastic cake. Now, I'd love to put this onto the counter, but I need to be able to take that out to the patrons. So, we'll go ahead and check that off. Cookies and cake. Next up is mushroom stew. Another fantastic crafting recipe composed of just some red and some brown mushrooms, and there we go. We've got ourselves mushroom stew. It looks like it's replaced with the natural version in the mod pack, though, so I'll go ahead and pop that into the chest and check off the mushroom stew. Next up is beef, chicken, lamb, and pork stew. Now, all of these come from the Magical Crops mod, and they are composed of corn and tomatoes, and then the subsequent type of meat which they are composed of, which ranges from mutton to chicken to beef to pork. So it's going to take some time to cook all of the meat up, so let's go ahead and actually make this stuff without actually waiting on everything to cook up. So to do this, it's just this particular crafting recipe, 1 tomato, 1 corn, the bowl, and whatever type of meat that you want to make. So here we've got chicken stew. This replenishes 6 hunger. We've got pork stew, 3 mutton stew. Thank God this does stack. And a beef stew. And I've already been making this stuff, as you can see inside of the chest here. I've got a bunch of beef stew, chicken stew, lamb stew, and pork stew. So that's fantastic. And with that, let's go ahead and check that off the list. Beef, chicken, lamb, and pork stew. Now, to get down to the very last of things. First of all, let's do the berry blast. So, berry blast is composed of 4 different types of berries from the Magical Crops Food and Hunger mod. To do this, you need blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries. Not too difficult to make. Now I'm going to need some bottles as well. And let's hop over to the crafting table. Now, before you can actually make the berry blast, you're going to need to make yourself a squeezer. Now, the squeezer is composed of 1 smooth stone and 3 cobblestone, making it not particularly expensive or difficult to make. Then, you just combine the squeezer and the bottles with the 4 different types of berries. I don't think that it matters too much. Oh, look at that. Turns out that you don't need strawberries, you just need blackberries, raspberries, and blueberries. And that gives you Berry Blast, which gives you 4 hunger. Not too bad, so I got 35 of those out of it. I'll go ahead and pop the squeezer back into the chest over here. And we can go ahead and check Berry Blast off of the menu as well. Pop that into the chest. And finally, let's make some speed bread. But that's not all. I've also been doing a reasonable amount of work over on the farm, and I've got myself this blaze essence, specifically so that I can get my hands on some of the more unique types of food. And in this case, I did it so I could make flaming bread, nothing like some burning hot, flaming, spicy bread. I can also make speed bread by surrounding it with redstone. And what's more, I've also got this nature essence, and I didn't put this on the menu, but I can use nature essence to create magical food, which is composed of just basically all different types of food from the Magical Crops mod around a nature essence, and this gives you 3 hunger. Not the most incredible, but it does give you health regeneration 3, which is a unique enchanted effect. So maybe I can do this with just tomatoes. I don't know, I've never tried this before. Let's check. Can I do this with just tomatoes? Oh, look at that, I can. So I can go ahead and just click, and there, I've made 28 magical food, and I'm actually, short on tomatoes to finish this, so that's a great thing right there. And there's one other thing that I want to make that I didn't put on the list, and that is a special type of shroom stew, which is glowing shroom stew. And that's from Natura. I don't actually know what this stuff does. I've never had it before, but these glowing mushrooms grow in the nether, and you can cultivate them by putting them in a low light area and growing them on mycelium underground. So you can do this in the overworld. You just have to plant these on mycelium and then whack them with some bone meal. You also need sufficient space, which some of the giant shrooms that can grow out of these are ridiculously large. Let's see what this gives me if I go ahead and munch on it. Sure enough, it gave me night vision, but it also gave me weakness and mining fatigue, which isn't too remarkably surprising given the given the nature of the mushrooms that I use to make it, which come from the nether. Check that off the list, and I will say to you, everyone, this has been another episode of Strife Solutions. I have almost entirely fleshed out the culinary delights of the Crafted Cantina. We have an incredible menu for any patron who comes to pay a visit to the Crafted Cantina here at the Strife Solution compound, and I will definitely be impressing the government contractors whenever they come around and consider giving me any sort of contract. So next time around, I'm not entirely certain what I'm going to get up to, probably fleshing out the drug den because it's time to get around to the illicit goods. But until then, guys, I am Strife of Strife Solutions, and this is the Crafted Cantina. We have tons and tons of food for everybody who will stop by. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!